Not for nothing, but it's also super nice to actually have, I mean, first world problems, mate, am I right? But it's also super nice to be able to have something to put the camera on, so I can do that. There we go. Italy cover. So, Doctor Who update. My Doctor Who series, I was like, what started 4 years ago as me just writing random ideas on a page to make a blog post, has transformed into, well, a cinematic universe, to be quite honest. Like, my Doctor Who takes place in an alternate 2019 to 2020, both in the setting and in real life. Now, obviously, if it ever got made, we'd just bring that series, bring the dates forward. Like, the dates aren't really mentioned, they don't really matter, they're very interchangeable, and we certainly don't cover the Rona of it all.
Remember when everyone went mad for toilet roll? God, those were the times.
But hi everybody. Turns out it was pretty darn windy that day where I spent a full 10 minutes waffling on about Doctor Who, so you can't hear any of it. What? So I figured watching it back now I'd just tell you what I was going to talk about, but probably in a more concise way. The phrase cinematic universe gets tossed around a lot these days, but basically the idea with this is that throughout October I gave myself the challenge to write a Doctor Who Halloween special. This was before the new series literally started on Halloween, but this isn't an episode. This wouldn't be like, oh, it airs across Halloween. This would be the series has already happened earlier on in the year, and then you get a Halloween special just like you get a Christmas special, right? I know they've kind of moved away from those, but don't even worry about it. We're only bringing back Working Late. You remember that? You remember the first story, the first bit of content that I put out a few odd years ago? Pretty much the same year I came up with the idea for the Doctor Who series, actually. It was a big year, to be fair. Big boy year.
Be careful not to make a sound! Why? Don't touch that!
If you've listened to Working Late or read Working Late, it's different. It's in name only, but it's the idea of the tagline for the episode and the trailer for the episode would be a very short, sharp cut sort of, flashing, and then the Doctor turns around to an office room of people and going, come on lads, what can be scarier than a 9-to-5 office job? Really interesting to experiment, because I've written some horror things, mainly stories and a couple of sort of plays, but never a screenplay. You could just do so much with horror, and anyone can do jump scares, do you know what I mean? And I'm really rubbish at what I call the explanation. Like, I can give you imagery and I can give you spooky feels, but when it comes to the explanation of what's going on, it always falls flat. But this time round I did pretty okay, I like to think. It was really fun to just play around with the idea of what's the monster, how do they look scary, how do they sort of behave and act. Well, put it this way, it's this idea that the spooky thing, I've been heavily inspired by the It remake, where it's like they show you something scary, something spooky, and you go, oh god, you know what I mean? Pennywise, for example, jumps out, you go, oh god, but then he stays and he just looks at the camera, or he looks, the characters haven't seen him yet, so you've been made jump, but he doesn't go anywhere, and then he starts moving towards the characters and they have no idea that he's there. It's that times a million, do you know what I mean? Like that's been my bread and butter for the Doctor Who version of Working Late. And really fun as well to challenge myself to be like, here's a series that's all about optimism and the spirit of adventure and the idea that no matter how bad the monsters are, at the end of the day, the Doctor can always fix it, can always find a solution, can always work it. And I know in the new series they're always like, oh, but this one's too evil. What's the Doctor is too unprepared. But in this, I'm like, well, don't get me wrong, she does win the day at the end of the day. She does figure out what's wrong with them and sort of fix stuff, but it's how you get there. The journey to how you get... These ain't your mama's monsters, do you know what I mean? These are not your Cybermen, these are not Daleks or crap like that, you know what I mean? They're scarier than the Weeping Angels as well. hasten to add.
I couldn't possibly.
And then I've got more ideas on the cinematic universe. I'll talk to you more about it at some point. But yes, basically, I'll just sort of pepper that in through the next few vlogs. But just pepper, just a light sprinkling, just pepper. But long story short, yeah, it's the idea of series series in the spring, summer, Halloween special in the autumn, and then Christmas special at Christmas, if you can guess. This is where my head's at, and to be honest, I have actively been typey and righty to forget about what's going on in the world and all that loveliness. So yeah, it's all good, guys. All good in the hood. Don't even worry about it. I said, don't even worry about it. I said. And would you believe it? Look who's back in town. Oh my goodness. What's he doing back in town? Well, lads, for the last few months, if it's a Wednesday, I'm in town, basically. I'm in Manchester City Centre, just sort of running around, being a little scamp. Just sort of running around, having a great time. The city, it's ever changing. In the summer, there was quite a lot of novelty around being able to just go to like the Tesco Metro and just sort of sit and around people and stuff, and actually be around people for the first time in 18 months. But as the month have gone on, it's got its challenges, don't get me wrong. It's become a little bit of a toughie, but every time I go into the city, I think of new ways to make it work for me. Do you know what I mean? And that's Nature Watch. The points that we used to hang around in and see the mix of the old and the new, and then I bloody went into the Ardale and ended up at the bloody Lego shop. What am I like? Look at that cheeky, chappy face. You can't be mad at him for too long, can you, ladies and germs? Obviously, we are on the tipping point of the festive season, so the Christmas markets are in town, and all the lovely Christmas decks are around a little early for the festivities, you know what I mean? And it's just lovely to generally see, do you know what I mean? Is Nature Watch even... No, it's not Nature Watch, it's Country Watch. Nationwide?
I think you know where this about to go.
I often have a lot of time on my hands, but also a laptop in my hands. This analogy is failing rapidly. I've enjoyed nothing more than getting a black coffee from Starbucks in my keep cup, even though I'm sitting inside. It's a thing. Get a bar of chocky from Pound Shop, or today's was actually from Aldi, and just do some good writing. Do you know what I mean? I used to do it all the time when we lived in town. I might come meet someone for the lunch break sort of thing, or if I knew I was meeting someone later on, I'd just find a coffee shop to sit in for a good while and just write. You know what I mean? And obviously, when we weren't allowed to touch each other for ages, I haven't been able to do that, but it was so liberating to be able to do that. And as you can see, the bloody camera fell over, because of course it does. It always does on me. Oh, and now Joe from 2021 is going to have a conversation with himself from 2020, except the 2020 guy wasn't aware that he was having a conversation, so the editing's a little bit jinky-janky, but bear with me. I have to, boop the snoot with my nose, because wearing gloves doesn't work like that. Good morning. I don't remember it being this cold last year. Yo. Maybe that's just me. That's just me. So I thought this time of year it's quite fun, because I start remembering the specific dates that things happened on. Well, rather, in 2020...
The toilet roll.
November to December, dates started to mean an awful lot. And I started to, become tangentially aware that happened on the 22nd, that happened on the... It's the 26th of November. So, with that in mind, this one's pretty easy, because it's only blooming Thanksgiving, and this time last year I was this guy. The business of Joe West. Joe writes things, and that makes it pretty easy to do the exact same walk again a year on. Yeah, when I saw that this would, what day this day landed on, I almost didn't believe it. I was like, is that literally? Literally. Which means I am a full year out
of the shop and the job that shall not be named. The year of hell. It's not the year of hell, but you know what I mean. I haven't set foot in the place in the year. I haven't done nothing. I haven't even, all I've done is sit and think about the existential dread. But yeah, pretty cool. I do not remember it being this cold last year. It's not as cold. The month hasn't been this cold as I thought it would be, as November's typically are. It is literally 3 degrees, which probably means it's about to get cold. A little bit freezing, mate. Frosty morn. That would be quite fun actually. If I'm applying for top 10 videos, maybe I should do like a top 10 reasons you should hire me for this job. That would be really fun actually. Put a pin in that. Good. 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 Anyway, catch you later.